If you've been asking yourself, where can I travel right now? This video is for you. I'm Angie from Trips with Angie, and today I'm going to go through the entry requirements for some of the countries that have most of the all-inclusive resorts. A few warnings. First, the resort experience may be a little different than what you expect. The swim-up bars are likely going to be closed. Occupancy is likely going to be under 30%, so that means restaurants may be closed, activities may not be available, the buffets will be closed or adapted with staff serving you. Excursions may not be available. We know masks will be required on flights and in airports, but masks may also be required at the resort. Many of the countries are requiring a COVID PCR test result that shows negative. And to figure out if you can even get access to that type of test, I recommend checking the CVS website or your local health department. And just a warning, if for some reason while you're in the country, you or a travel companion tests positive for COVID, you may be required to quarantine within that country for 14 days and be responsible for the costs affiliated with that. Now, the requirements keep changing, so be sure to check the links in this video's description. So let's get started with Antigua. The border reopened on June 1st. You must have a negative test result that was taken and received within 7 days of your flight, and masks will still be required in the public areas of the resort if social distancing isn't an option. Also, if you've traveled to Antigua before, you'll notice there's some new forms you need to fill out. For Aruba, it just reopened to Americans. You must get an embarkation declaration prior to arrival. They're going to want to see that before you get on the flight. And you have to have documentation of a negative PCR COVID test within 72 hours. That means you took the test and got the results back within 72 hours of your arrival for most U.S. citizens. There's a list of the states that require the negative test prior to arrival in the description of this video. So check that out. If you don't live in one of the states that require the test before arriving, you will be given a test upon arrival. So I think just as a matter of safety, you should just go ahead and make sure you have that negative test result if you're planning to head to Aruba. You'll also have to fill out a self-help declaration. Give me a like. Can you say that 3 times fast? Self-help. You also have to have documentation of health insurance that would cover you in Aruba for COVID-related illness and treatment. All right, the Bahamas. The Bahamas reopened its airports on July 1st. You must have a negative COVID test taken within 10 days of arrival, and you're required to complete an electronic health visa prior to departure. The Dominican Republic reopened July 1st. It has thermal scanning upon arrival. You also have to fill out a traveler's health affidavit. Jamaica, you must get pre-approval to travel to Jamaica. Your window to get that pre-approval opens 72 hours prior to arrival. You must show a negative COVID test within 7 days of arrival if you live in Florida, Texas, New York, or Arizona. Again, those states are changing, so check the link in the description. And others may be tested for COVID upon arrival, depending on what you fill out in that pre-approval form. If you do test positive upon arrival, you will be quarantined in a public health facility. Mexico is just doing thermal scanning at the airports. St. Lucia, visitors must be tested for COVID up to a maximum of 7 days before their flight to St. Lucia and show a negative COVID test. You have to use face masks throughout St. Lucia, including at the resort, and you may be quarantined if contact tracing indicates you were in contact with someone at the resort who tests positive. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments or definitely check out the links in the description.